Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown. Today I'm going to talk to you about how Alabama failed Jalen Hurts. And this video is in response to, after the national championship game, and actually before this throughout the whole season, people making false statements such as Jalen can't throw. It's very important when you say can't throw, specifically those words, or he is not a passer, or he hasn't developed as a passer from last year. I'm here to tell you that all of those statements are wrong. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen can't improve or there are some things that he needs to do better. I'm not saying that isn't true. But to make those strong statements that I just said before, that's completely erroneous, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, Jalen has developed as a passer from last year, and there's 4 points actually, that I'll give you to that unequivocally show you that he has. The first one is his footwork. His footwork from last year, it left some things to be desired. And sometimes this year it was still a little shaky, but all in all, his feet looked really good when he was dropping back to pass. Two, his mechanics. If you all remember early in the season, that long touchdown pass last year, actually, as a freshman, last year when he threw that long touchdown pass to Ardarius Stewart against USC, he kind of had that bounce in his step, and he kind of patted the ball twice like he was trying to put some mustard on it. They fixed that, and he's really developed into holding the ball the right way and throwing it, rotating his hips and whatnot. That's what you're supposed to do. That's obvious improvement. He does not do that little bounce and pat of the ball. If you go see that throw and you watch how he throws now, he does not do that at all. So that is an obvious improvement. Three, throwing the ball over the middle of the field. Last year, they did not, as a freshman, Jalen Hurts did not throw the ball over the middle of the field. They didn't let him do it. They didn't call plays. Lane Kiffin, of course, wanted to get the ball to the outside, get the sweeps, get the ball on the edge. So that was obvious, but when you got a young quarterback, they usually don't want him throwing the ball over the middle. They want to keep it to the sidelines and safe. This year, he threw over the middle. Not as much as I wanted them to help him develop as a passer, more, but they did it. The prime evidence of this, and I mean prime evidence of this, all you have to do is go watch the first drive of the second half against the Tennessee Volunteers. Jalen Hurts threw across the middle multiple times and got up and down the field easily for a touchdown, and I've been wondering ever since then why we have not been doing that more often. I really don't know. So I actually blame Dable for that. 4, pre-snap reads. Jalen, if you watch him this year, just watch the play. Don't just watch him throwing the ball. Watch him before the plays. He literally scans the defense. He sees what coverage is. He sees how they're aligned. He takes note of everything. He's pointing out the pass protection. He's telling his lineman what to do. He's changing plays, and he's setting his running back from left to right to get them in the right pass protection. He literally is going over the defense right then and there. So you can't say he doesn't know how to read defense. And so those are 4 areas specifically where Jalen Hurts has developed as a passer. So you literally cannot say he can't throw, isn't a passer, or hasn't developed from last season. Those things are erroneous. They are completely false. Now, one other thing people discount that Jalen knew how to manage the game. So a lot of people want to, well, since Tua Tagovailoa is already a better pocket passer, why hasn't he been starting? Well, it's obvious if you watch the game in the national championship that he did not know how to manage a game as a true freshman. Now, some of that may come from not playing as much, but you obviously have a starter, so of course you can't play your backup that much. So he wasn't ready. He made a lot of mistakes. He forced some balls into coverage, a few of them actually, and some plays he shouldn't have thrown. He missed some reads. He wasn't perfect. So it was obvious that he doesn't know how to manage the game yet, but when you put him in, we had nothing else to lose, so they said, let him go, let him throw it, which is fine. I'm glad we got to it. This is great, but Jalen knew how to manage the game, which is one of the main reasons why he's started. If you know Nick Saban, you know Nick Saban loves a guy who's safe with the ball and knows how to manage the game. One of the primary reasons why he was the starter. Now let's get into some of my more refined points. The staff of Alabama did not do Jalen Hurts any favors at all. They really didn't. I'm really going to get at Brian Dable right now. And it's funny because I'm not one to criticize coaches because they know more than I do, obviously. I'm not one to really get into that grill and say, oh, it was the worst thing ever. Or a lot of people didn't like Brian Dable. I actually liked what he brought to Alabama. I really did. I just didn't like his game plan for Jalen that time. So his game plan for Jalen Hurts' passing was completely ineffective. I'm specifically talking about the national championship. Now, they came into that game saying, we're going to run the ball, and we're going to run the ball with Jalen. How are you going to do that against Kirby Smart in the Georgia defense? And the worst part is not that so I actually agreed that we should have been running the ball against Georgia. But when obviously they were keying in on all the runs, why would we continue to do it in that manner? Why didn't we try to get them thrown off from their original defensive plan? One of the things I noticed too was when I say the passing game plan for him was ineffective, a lot of times now they basically made Jalen Hurts regress back to his freshman season throwing by keeping his throws on one side of the field. There were many times I counted where it would be 3 wide receivers on the field, maybe even 2 and a tight end. They would literally have all of those routes go to the right side of the field. So people always ask, why does Jalen Hurts leave the pocket early and scramble to the right? Now, some of that is Jalen just leaving the pocket too early and not climbing in the pocket. That is one clear area he can improve in. But a lot of times he's running over there because his routes are all crossing routes, post route, corner routes, whatever it may be, to the right side of the field. Why would you then limit your quarterback's vision to one side of the field? Now, all the defenders have to do is now go to that one side of the field. They're only defending one side of the field, so it's smaller. They can get to the ball faster. They can break it up. It'll be tighter windows, tighter throws. Why would you limit your quarterback to 2 to 3 reads on that side of the field? Usually it's like a little out route for the tight end and a corner route for Calvin Ridley. The defenses they know that's coming. Why would you do that? And so they basically limited him on purpose instead of allowing him to grow into a better passer. You don't need to deliberately put all of the reads on the same side for Jalen Hurts. And a lot of times in that, they told Jalen in those particular plays, you make one read and then you go. So it's like you look at one read, and if it's not open, you run. They literally have plays where they tell Jalen Hurts, make one read and run. That's not helping him. And thing is this. These things are not inherently bad. But Jalen is not a lesser QB. You usually do those type of things when your quarterback can't develop more as a passer. He has the physical tools and the mindset to adapt to change. They never tailored an offense to give him an opportunity to show that. Instead of just hamstringing him to one side of the field, how about you open him up to all sides of the field and you allow him to grow into passing to all sides of the field? And that may take some growing pains. He may throw more interceptions because he is safe with the ball, but it's because he's now sick. He has to be safe when he's got a confined field. So he may throw some interceptions when you let him go a little more, but you got to give him the chance to do that. And I know, it is the crazy part, I know Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. I know he can make some reads. Because if you watched him his freshman season against Mississippi State 2016, he lit them up, throwing the ball, through passes, down the field, hit people in stride, through short passes, middle passes, deep passes. And also his throws against Florida State this year, against LSU this year, against Mississippi State this year, against Tennessee in that first drive of the second half. This year, he made throws that we needed to convert. The touchdown pass against Mississippi State, the LSU game, he completed the deep pass to make them back up. He escaped pressures from the sack and got rid of the ball when he needed to. Against Florida State, he made them back up by throwing the ball. Me and Jared, Guest Tech Sports, a guy who comments on my videos a lot, we highlighted how in that Florida State game, the safety came down being aggressive, thinking Jalen can't throw. And he tried to jump on the Jalen pass or tried to jump on a short pass. Jalen Hurts looked at him, basically letting you know, I got you. And on the next play or 2 plays later, whatever it may be, he threw a ball over their head for a completion down the field. You can't tell me that he can't throw. It's obvious. It's there. And so if he can do that, if he showed you that he can even do that for a little bit, that means you need to make an offense to where he can show he can grow into doing that more often. But no, Alabama scaled it down. Now, unless you're going to sit here and tell me you know for a fact that Jalen Hurts can't be better as a passer because for some reason you're all-knowing and you can predict the future, I guess, but maybe I would agree with you then. But I see obvious traits and signs that Jalen Hurts can do way more. Way more. And look, I know his deficiencies. I know he has some deficiencies. He needs to read the defense a little bit faster at times after the snap. After the snap, he needs to read the defense faster and go through his reads a little bit faster. He needs to trust his arm. He needs to trust his arm. There's times where he has an open throw and he sees it, but he doesn't throw it because he's thinking, I need to be safe with the ball. That could possibly be intercepted. You just got to let that go. He has to learn how to climb the pocket. Climbing the pocket is when you drop back and the rushers are coming up the field. Instead of running out, because he's used to being the most athletic guy, the fastest guy. Instead of running out and scrambling, step up in the pocket and wait on the throw to come a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. Those are things he can get better on, but not doing those things consistently does not make you a bad quarterback or that you can't throw. It just doesn't. And with all those things, now people got all these things in their mind. Tua coming out strong, he came out of high school strong in a lot of those areas. He improved himself, in climbing the pocket, making some accurate throws, in different places. He made himself a better pocket passer. He came in, I should say, already that way, pretty developed already, reading defenses pretty fast and with a strong arm. So he was strong in a lot of those areas. And that's nothing to fault onto a Tagovailoa. I really like him. But I am afraid to see what would have happened to him if he came into Alabama and he wasn't as developed as a pocket passer as he was. Would Alabama have been able to help him get to the next point? That's the scary part, because if we have Jalen who has the ability, but we didn't quite get him there, what if Tagovailoa came in and we weren't able to do that with him? That's a scary thought. That's something that we need to do. I swear we need to get someone on staff to specifically develop quarterbacks. So every offensive coordinator is different. Brian Dable is like the game plan guy. He brought the New England philosophy over, but he wasn't a quarterback coach. We need an offensive coordinator, and this is not necessarily saying that we need to get rid of Dable. But I'm saying when you got an offensive coordinator, sometimes it's helpful to have somebody who knows how to help quarterbacks get better. Not just give them plays or install game plans. Because installing a game plan doesn't help your quarterback get better. And so this is my video on how Alabama failed Jalen Hurts. I really believe this is one of the main reasons. Now, we're coming up into a new spring. Jalen may be able to do some things himself and get himself together and get better as a pocket passer before the spring starts. But Alabama definitely didn't help him out up to this point enough, I should say. I sound a little harsh because I'm going to say Alabama, we helped him out. We got the conversations with Tom Brady, got him the film of the New England and all that stuff. So that actually did help. I've seen the improvements in that way. But you got to do a little bit more than that when it comes to helping a guy develop his skills. But that's all. Let me know what you all think. I got really passionate about it because I got so tired of people just bashing Jalen Hurts. Like I said, this is not for those people who just criticize, who criticize Jalen Hurts, from a standpoint of taking a step back and saying, okay, I can see he needs to improve here and there, and maybe he can get better. If you're saying that type of thing, that's fine. But if you're just bashing Jalen Hurts and saying he can't throw, that's an uneducated opinion. And it's something that we have to correct and stop. And I'm glad Tua was talking about stepped up for him and embraced him in a time when he was receiving so much criticism. Bad criticism. Not all criticism is bad, but this criticism was. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you all think. Even if you disagree with me, put it in the comment section. And obviously, I'm going to come out and I'm going to respond. I respond to just about everything. So I would love to hear what you all think. Let me know. Yeah, actually, let me know what you think about Jalen. Let me know what you think about, this upcoming season and your thoughts for him. Anyway, see you for the next video.